My mother screamed the words that would change everything. "Get out of my house and never come back." So I did exactly what she said. I walked out that door, and I didn't look back. 3 weeks later, my father called me, confused and angry, asking why I'd stopped coming around. That's when I realized Mom never told him what she said. And that's when I decided she was about to learn a very painful lesson about getting exactly what you wish for. Have you ever been told you're worthless by someone who was supposed to love you? Have ever walked away from toxicity and watched karma do its work? This story is for you. Hit that like button if you believe actions have consequences, and subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell, because what happens next proves that sometimes the best revenge is simply giving people exactly what they asked for. Before we get into it, I would like you to do me a favor. Grab a cup of coffee as we ride together into this story. The kitchen light was flickering again that Tuesday evening. I remember because I'd been staring at it, trying to focus on anything except my mother's voice cutting through the air like broken glass. "You're useless, Rose. Absolutely useless." I was 24 years old, standing in my childhood kitchen, holding a dish towel that was still damp from washing the dinner plates. My hands were shaking, but I kept my face neutral. I'd learned that trick years ago. Reacting only made it worse. "I asked you to pick up milk on your way over," Mom continued, her voice rising with that familiar edge of disgust. "One simple thing, and you couldn't even manage that." I had picked up milk. It was sitting in the fridge behind her, the store receipt still in my purse. But pointing that out would only trigger another explosion, another lecture about how I was argumentative, how I always had to be right, how I made everything difficult. My father sat at the dining table, newspaper spread in front of him, eyes carefully fixed on the sports section. He'd perfected the art of disappearing without leaving the room. My older brother, Jake, had texted an hour ago saying he couldn't make it to dinner. Again, smart guy. He'd figured out years ago how to avoid these weekly family dinners that Mom demanded we attend. But me, I was a good daughter, the one who showed up every single Tuesday without fail. The one who helped with groceries, fixed Mom's computer, organized her medical appointments, listened to her complaints about the neighbors, the grocery store clerk, the weather, everything and everyone that disappointed her. Which, according to her, was pretty much everything and everyone. "And your hair," she said, circling me like a shark. "When are you going to do something about it? You look like you just rolled out of bed. No wonder you can't keep a boyfriend." My hair was fine. It was pulled back in a neat ponytail because I'd come straight from my job at the medical clinic where I worked as a receptionist. But facts didn't matter in my mother's kitchen. Only her perception mattered, and her perception was always that I fell short. "Mom," I said quietly, "the milk is in the fridge. I bought it." Wrong move. Her face changed, that shift I knew so well. Her eyes narrowed, her jaw tightened, and her whole body seemed to coil up with rage. "Don't you dare talk back to me," she hissed. "After everything I've done for you, after all the years I spent raising you, sacrificing for you, and this is the thanks I get? Attitude. I wasn't giving you attitude, I was just, get out." The words came out cold and flat. I froze, dish towel still in my hands. "What? You heard me. Get out of my house. Get out and never come back." The kitchen seemed to tilt. This wasn't the first time she'd said cruel things. It wasn't even the first time she'd told me to leave. But there was something different in her voice this time. Something final. I glanced at my father. He'd lowered the newspaper just enough to peek over the top, but his expression was carefully blank. No help was coming from that direction. "Mom, I said get out." She was screaming now, her face flushed red. "I'm done with you. Done with your disrespect, your laziness, your constant disappointment. You want to argue with me? Fine. Do it somewhere else. This is my house, and I don't want you in it anymore." My chest felt tight, like someone had wrapped a band around my ribs and was pulling it tighter with each breath. I'd spent my entire life trying to please this woman. Tuesday dinners, helping with errands, calling her 3 times a week, sending flowers on her birthday, organizing family photos, fixing her computer, listening to her vent about every minor inconvenience in her life. And this was what I got. I carefully folded the dish towel and placed it on the counter. My hands weren't shaking anymore. Something inside me had gone very, very quiet. "Okay," I said. "Okay," Mom repeated like she couldn't believe I wasn't fighting back. "That's all you have to say." "You told me to leave and never come back," I said, my voice steady and calm in a way that surprised even me. "So that's what I'm going to do." I picked up my purse from the chair, pulled out my keys, and walked toward the door. Mom followed me, still yelling, her words bouncing off my back like rain off a windshield. Fine, leave, see if I care, don't come crawling back when you need something, you're on your own now. I opened the front door. The evening air was cool against my skin. You're really going to walk out after I made dinner? I paused, one foot already on the porch. For just a second, I almost turned around, almost apologized, even though I'd done nothing wrong. I almost begged her to let me stay because that's what I'd been trained to do my entire life. Instead, I said, "You told me to never come back. I'm just respecting your wishes." And then I walked to my car, got in, started the engine, and drove away. In my rearview mirror, I could see my mother standing in the doorway, arms crossed, watching me leave. I wondered if she thought I'd circle back. That I'd park down the street for a few minutes, calm down, and then return to apologize like I always did. But I didn't. I drove home to my small apartment across town, made myself a cup of tea, and sat on my couch in the quiet. No yelling, no criticism, no walking on eggshells, just silence. And for the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe. The first few days were strange. I kept expecting my phone to ring. Kept expecting Mom to call and either apologize or launch into another lecture about my behavior. But my phone stayed quiet. Tuesday came and went. No reminder text about dinner. No call asking where I was. By Friday, I started to wonder if she was okay. Maybe she'd fallen. Maybe she was sick. Maybe something had happened, and no. I stopped myself. This was exactly the trap I always fell into, making excuses for her. Taking responsibility for her emotions, rushing back because I felt guilty for setting a boundary. But she told me to never come back, so I didn't. I went to work. I came home. I read books I'd been meaning to read for months. I went to dinner with my friend Carla, who I hadn't seen in forever because Tuesday dinners always took priority. I deep cleaned my apartment. I slept better than I had in years. Life without my mother's constant criticism was peaceful. Week 2 passed. Still nothing from Mom. But then on a Wednesday evening, my phone rang. Dad's name flashed on the screen. I stared at it for 3 rings before answering. "Hello, Rose." His voice sounded strained. "Where have you been?" I blinked, confused. "What do you mean? You haven't been to the house in 2 weeks. Your mother's been asking about you." The laugh that came out of me was sharp and bitter. "She's been asking about me." "Yes, she says you haven't called. You didn't come to dinner last week or this week." What's going on? I sat down slowly on my couch, phone pressed to my ear, trying to process what I was hearing. "Dad," I said carefully, "did Mom tell you what happened?" "What do you mean, what happened?" "She said you had dinner 2 weeks ago and everything was fine." Everything was fine. I felt something cold and hard settle in my stomach. "Dad," she screamed at me to get out of the house and never come back. Those were her exact words, "Get out and never come back." Silence on the other end. What? She told me to leave. She said she was done with me, that she didn't want me in her house anymore, so I left. I did exactly what she told me to do. More silence. Then, "Rose, that doesn't sound right. Your mother wouldn't." "She did. I promise you she did." I heard him exhale slowly. "Well, you know how your mother gets sometimes. She probably didn't mean it. You shouldn't have taken it so seriously." And there it was. The familiar script. Minimize Mom's behavior. Make it my responsibility to fix things. Pretend the abuse didn't happen, or if it did, pretend it wasn't that bad. "Dad, she told me to never come back. I'm respecting her wishes." "Rose, come on, don't be difficult. Just come to dinner next Tuesday. Your mother misses you." If she misses me, she can call me herself and apologize. You know she's not going to do that. Then I guess she doesn't miss me that much. My father sighed, that long-suffering sound I'd heard my entire life whenever Mom's behavior created problems he didn't want to deal with. "Your mother made a roast for tonight. She made your favorite dessert. She's been cooking all day expecting you to show up." Wait. She expected me to show up today, Wednesday. Tuesday dinners got moved to Wednesday this week because she has a doctor's appointment tomorrow. My mind was racing. "Did she tell you that she changed the day?" "She told Jake. She assumed you knew." "When did she tell Jake?" "I don't know, sometime this week, I guess." I pulled up my messages with Jake. The last text from him was from 3 days ago, something about a funny video, nothing about dinner being moved. "Dad, she never told me dinner was moved. And more importantly, she told me to never come back. Those weren't vague words. She screamed at me to leave and never return." "Well, clearly she's over it now since she's expecting you." "No." The word came out harder than I intended. "I'm not doing this anymore." "Doing what?" "Pretending that Mom's behavior is normal. Pretending that I'm the problem. Pretending that it's my job to fix things every time she explodes at me. Rose, family is family. You don't just walk away because things get hard." She told me to walk away, Dad. She ordered me to. And now she's upset that I actually listened to her. That's not my problem. She's your mother. And I'm her daughter. Which apparently means I'm supposed to accept being screamed at, criticized, and told I'm worthless. No thanks, I'm done. You're being dramatic. That word, dramatic. The word that had been used to dismiss my feelings my entire life. If standing up for myself is dramatic, then I guess I'm dramatic. Just come to dinner next week. No, Rose, tell Mom that if she wants to talk to me, she can call me herself. She can apologize for what she said. And then maybe, we can have a conversation about rebuilding our relationship. But I'm not going to keep showing up just to be her emotional punching bag. I hung up before he could respond. My hands were shaking again, but not from fear this time. From years of suppressed frustration finally breaking free. She expected me to show up. She told everyone dinner was moved except me, then acted like I was the one who didn't care enough to come. This wasn't just about one argument. This was a pattern. A lifetime of manipulation, of making me feel like I was never good enough, of moving goalposts and then blaming me for not meeting impossible standards. And my father. He was just as bad in his own way, enabling her and making excuses, putting the responsibility on me to fix things that I didn't break. I wasn't going back, not to Tuesday dinners, not to be the family scapegoat, not to walk on eggshells around Mom's mood swings. I was done. The calls from my father became more frequent over the next week. Each one followed the same script. Mom was hurt and confused. Why was I being so stubborn? Couldn't I just let it go? I stopped answering after the third call. Then Jake started texting me. What's going on with you and Mom? Ask her. She says you're mad at her for no reason. She told me to get out and never come back, so I did. She probably didn't mean it literally. Then she should say what she means. You're making this a bigger deal than it needs to be. I stared at that message for a long time. Jake, who avoided family dinners whenever possible. Jake, who lived 2 hours away and only showed up on major holidays. Jake, who had escaped Mom's criticism by being the golden child who could do no wrong. Jake was telling me I was making this a big deal. I'm not making anything a big deal. I'm just doing what she told me to do. Whatever, don't drag me into your drama. I didn't respond. The next Tuesday came. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. This is Ruth, your mother's friend from church. I heard you and your mother had a disagreement. Family is precious, dear. Life is too short to hold grudges. I'm sure if you just apologize and move forward. I blocked the number. Another text, this time from my cousin Michelle. Hey, your mom called my mom crying. She says you won't talk to her. What's going on? Did she tell your mom what she said to me? She said you got upset over something small and stormed out. Of course she did. She told me to get out of her house and never come back. Those were her exact words. I'm just respecting her wishes. Oh, that's... wow. But like she probably didn't mean it. If someone tells you to get out and never come back, do you think they mean please come back next week? I guess not when you put it that way. At least Michelle seemed to understand. But the flying monkeys kept coming. Dad's sister called. One of Mom's coworkers somehow got my number. Even the lady who did Mom's hair texted me about healing family wounds. Each message was the same. I needed to be a bigger person. I needed to forgive. I needed to apologize. For what? For leaving when I was told to leave. The gaslighting was surreal. 3 weeks turned into 4, then 5. I found out through Jake that Mom had started telling people I'd cut her off out of the blue for no reason. That she was a victim of her cruel, heartless daughter who abandoned her. The story got more elaborate with each retelling. I screamed at her. I'd thrown things. I'd said terrible and unforgivable words. None of it was true, but it didn't matter. Mom was spinning a narrative, and everyone was buying it because who questions a crying mother? My father called one more time. Your mother's health is suffering, he said, his voice heavy with accusation. Her blood pressure is up, she's not sleeping. The doctor says stress is making her condition worse. I closed my eyes. And that's my fault. You could end this any time you want. Just come to dinner, just apologize. Apologize for what? For upsetting her. I didn't upset her, Dad. She upset herself by screaming at me to leave and then being shocked when I actually left. This is ridiculous. You're going to regret this when she's gone. That sentence hit like a slap. The manipulation was so clear, so obvious, yet it still hurt. If she wants to repair our relationship, she knows where to find me. My number hasn't changed. She's not going to call you. Then I guess we don't have a relationship anymore. I hung up. And this time I turned off my phone for the rest of the day. 6 weeks after I left Mom's house, something unexpected happened. My father showed up at my apartment. I opened the door to find him standing there, looking older and more tired than I remembered. For a moment, neither of us spoke. "Can I come in?" he asked. I stepped aside. He walked into my small living room, looking around like he'd never seen it before, even though he'd been here a few times over the years. He sat down on my couch without being invited. "Your mother's in the hospital," he said. My stomach dropped. What happened?" "Her blood pressure spiked. They're monitoring her. She's stable, but—" He trailed off, looking at me with an expression I couldn't quite read. "I'm sorry she's sick," I said carefully. "But I'm not sure why you're telling me this. Because she's asking for you." I sat down across from him. "She could have asked for me 6 weeks ago. She could have picked up the phone any time. She's stubborn. So am I, apparently." We sat in silence for a moment. Then my father said something that surprised me. "I listened to the security camera footage." I blinked. "What?" "The camera at the front door. It picks up audio from the kitchen if the windows are open. They were open that night." He looked down at his hands. "I heard what she said to you." My heart started pounding. "And," I managed, "she told you to get out and never come back." He said it quietly, like admitting a terrible secret. "She screamed at you, she said horrible things, and you just left quietly." I didn't know what to say. "I thought—" He paused, struggling. "I thought you'd had an argument and you'd overreacted. That's what she told me. But I heard it, Rose. I heard all of it." "Why did it take you 6 weeks to listen to the footage?" "'Cause I didn't think I needed to. I believed your mother when she said you'd stormed out over nothing. But then she kept getting more and more upset and she kept changing the story and I started wondering." He looked up at me. "I'm sorry." Those 2 words hung in the air. "You're sorry," I repeated. "I should have believed you. I should have asked more questions. I should have." He gestured helplessly. "I should have been a better father." I felt tears burning behind my eyes, but I blinked them back. "I'd cried enough over this family. What do you want me to do?" I asked. "I want you to come see your mother in the hospital." "Why?" "Because she's scared, because she's sick and she needs her daughter." "Dad, she told me she didn't want me. She told me to never come back. Why would I go see someone who made it very clear they don't want me in their life? Because you're a better person than she is." That sentence stopped me cold. My father had never, not once in my entire life, criticized my mother out loud. "She's not going to apologize," he continued. "You know that, right? Even if you come to the hospital, even if you try to make peace, she's never going to say the words, 'I'm sorry.' Then why should I come? Because you'll regret it if you don't." "Will I? Or will I regret wasting more years of my life trying to earn love from someone who's incapable of giving it?" My father flinched. We sat there for a long moment. Then he pulled out his phone and handed it to me. On the screen was a text message thread between him and Jake. "I listened to the security footage. Your mother told Rose to leave and never come back." "Oh, that's all you have to say. I mean, Mom says stuff like that all the time. Rose should know not to take it seriously. She screamed at her. She said she was done with her. Rose has always been sensitive." I handed the phone back. "Sounds about right." "Your brother's wrong," Dad said quietly. "I'm starting to realize a lot of things I should have realized years ago." "Like what?" "Like the fact that I let your mother treat you badly. I let her criticize you, control you, manipulate you. I told myself it was just her personality, that you were strong enough to handle it, that family sticks together no matter what." He looked at me with something that might have been shameful. "I was wrong." I didn't know what to say to that. "I'm not asking you to fix your relationship with your mother," he said. "I'm not even asking you to forgive her. I'm just asking you to come to the hospital so she knows you're okay, so she can see that you're alive and well. And then you never have to see her again if you don't want to. And if I say no, then I'll tell her you said no and I won't push you anymore." I studied my father's face. He looked genuine. "I'll think about it," I said. He nodded and stood up to leave. At the door, he paused. "For what it's worth," he said, "I'm proud of you." "For what?" "For knowing your worth, for walking away when you needed to. I wish I'd learned that lesson 30 years ago." He left, and I sat in my living room, staring at the closed door. I didn't go to the hospital that day, or the next day. I sat with the decision, turning it over in my mind like a rock in my hand, trying to decide if it was a precious stone or just a piece of gravel. On the 3rd day, I drove to the hospital. Not because I thought Mom deserved it, not because I wanted to fix our relationship, but because I needed to see for myself that this chapter of my life was truly closed. The hospital room was on the 4th floor. I stood outside the door for a full minute, my hand on the handle, before I finally pushed it open. Mom was lying in the bed, smaller than I remembered, with IV lines running into her arm and monitors beeping softly beside her. She looked up when I walked in, and for a split second, something like surprise crossed her face. Rose. Hi, Mom. We looked at each other. I waited for her to say something, anything, an apology, an acknowledgement, even a simple "I'm glad you came." Instead, she said, "I'm surprised you showed up. Your father said you refused to come." I felt my jaw tighten. "He asked me to think about it. I thought about it. I'm here." "Well," she adjusted her pillow. "I suppose that's something." The monitors beeped. A nurse walked past the door. Somewhere down the hall, someone was laughing. "How are you feeling?" I asked, because it seemed like the thing to say. "How do you think I'm feeling? I'm in the hospital." "Right." More silence. "The doctor says my blood pressure needs to be managed better," she continued. "All this stress isn't helping." I waited for her to acknowledge that she'd created most of that stress herself. She didn't. "I'll leave you to rest," I said, turning toward the door. "That's it. You're leaving already." I turned back. "What did you want me to say, Mom?" "I don't know. Maybe ask me how I'm doing, show some concern." "I asked how you're feeling. You snapped at me." "I did not snap at you." I took a breath. "Okay. Don't okay me in that tone." And there it was, the same dynamic, the same dance. I could stay and argue, or I could leave and preserve the tiny bit of peace I'd built over the last 6 weeks. I chose peace. "I hope you feel better, Mom. I really do." "Where are you going?" "Home." "But she stopped herself, and for just a moment I saw something in her expression. Confusion, maybe, or fear. "You just got here. You told me to get out and never come back. I'm respecting your wishes." "That was weeks ago. I was upset." "I know you were, but you said what you said, and I don't think you meant anything different than what came out of your mouth. So you're just going to hold a grudge forever. You're going to punish me for having one bad moment?" I almost laughed. One bad moment. Like it hadn't been a lifetime of bad moments strung together into something I'd mistaken for a relationship. "I'm not punishing you, Mom. I'm protecting myself." "From what? From your own mother?" "Yes." That single word seemed to stun her into silence. "I came here because Dad asked me to," I said. "So you'd know I'm okay. So you could see I'm alive and doing fine. But I didn't come here to pretend everything is fixed or to go back to how things were. I'm done with that version of our relationship." "What does that mean?" "It means if you want a relationship with me going forward, it's going to be on different terms. It means you need to treat me with respect. It means no more screaming, no more criticism, no more blaming me for every inconvenience in your life." "I don't do that." "You do, Mom. You've been doing it my entire life." She stared at me, her mouth opening and closing like she wanted to argue but couldn't find the words. "I love you," I said, and I meant it, even though the love was complicated and painful and exhausting. "But I don't like the person you are when you're around me. And I don't like the person I become when I'm trying to please you. So that's it. You're just walking away. You told me to walk away. I didn't mean forever. Then you should have said what you meant." I opened the door. "Rose, wait." I paused but didn't turn around. Her voice was quieter now. "I don't know how to do this." "Do what?" "Be the kind of mother you need me to be." I turned back to look at her. She was staring down at her hands, picking at the hospital blanket. "Then maybe you should figure that out," I said gently. "And when you do, if you do, you can call me. But I'm not going to keep setting myself on fire to keep you warm." I left the hospital room and walked down the long corridor toward the elevator. My hands weren't shaking. My chest didn't feel tight. I felt calm. When I got to my car, I sat for a moment in the parking lot, engine off, just breathing. I'd spent my entire life trying to be good enough for a mother who would never be satisfied. I'd sacrificed my peace, my time, my self-respect, all for the approval of someone who wasn't capable of giving it. But not anymore. It's been 4 months since that hospital visit. Mom called once 2 weeks later. She didn't apologize, but she did invite me to lunch. I told her I'd think about it. I never called back. Dad and I talk occasionally, brief conversations about weather and work. He doesn't push me to reconcile with Mom anymore. I think he finally understands that some things can't be fixed, and that's okay. Jake sent me a text on my birthday. "Happy birthday." That was it. I responded with thanks. And that was that. The Tuesday dinners continue without me. Life in that house goes on, just like it did before, except now there's an empty chair at the table. Sometimes I wonder if Mom thinks about what she said that night. If she realizes that words, once spoken, can't be taken back. That relationships, once broken, can't always be mended. But mostly I don't think about it at all. I've made new friends. I've started going to a book club on Tuesday nights. I've signed up for a pottery class. I've been sleeping better, eating better, laughing more. My apartment is quiet, but it's mine. No one yells here. No one criticizes. No one makes me feel small. I learned something important. Walking away isn't giving up. Sometimes walking away is the bravest thing you can do. Sometimes the only way to save yourself is to stop trying to save everyone else. My mother told me to get out and never come back, so I did. And I built a life that doesn't need her permission, her approval, or her presence. That's not revenge. That's freedom. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever had to walk away from someone who was supposed to love you, leave a comment below. Share your story. You're not alone. And if you believe that setting boundaries isn't selfish, that protecting your peace is a strength, not a weakness, hit that subscribe button. Because every person who walks away from toxicity deserves to be celebrated, not criticized. Thanks for listening to my story. See you in the next one.